Greetings and peace to you. This is SB Favorite Thinking Podcast, and my name is SB Favor. How are you doing today? It is Sunday, September 17th, 2023. Another wonderful day and another day to be thankful. And as I always say, if you focus on what is good, then you can project something good to happen, just like that. If you focus on the things that are positive, the things that are helpful, beneficial, yes, you can project something good to happen. Because when you focus on the negative things, they're not going to happen. So focus on what's good. I hope everybody is having a good Sunday. Sundays are normally days that most of us we spend with our families and we eat some good food and relax a little bit. So I hope everybody is having a good Sunday. And if you are out there traveling about today, make sure that you are keeping yourself safe. Make sure you use that hand sanitizer and wear your mask if you need to, because people are still becoming ill. So please keep yourself safe and keep your family members safe. I always remind you of these things because I care. So make sure you also say a quick prayer. And don't be distracted by using your phone while you're out there. You got to be focused because there's a lot going on. So, like I said, keep yourself safe and keep your family members safe. If you would like to give to the podcast, you can give at Cash App, $SB Favor, or you can give at Venmo at SB Favor. Once again, if you would like to give to the podcast, you can give at Cash App, $SB Favor, or you can give at Venmo at SB Favor. And thank you so much for your donations and your support. Well, I have a special guest today. His name is Okon. I hope I'm saying that right. But this gentleman, he is considered to be the king of instrumental pop. And so we're going to get into uh, this convo and discuss why he is the instrumental king of pop. I thought that was interesting. And I just love to see people doing well and enjoying success, no matter what it is you are doing. If you are doing it with your gift in your heart, guess what? You will be successful. So, Dom, are you there? I want to talk to you. Are you here, Dom?
Yes, I am here. Thank you for having me today.
Awesome, awesome, awesome. You were on the podcast a few years ago, and we had a good conversation about nonprofit organizations and things like that you were working on at that time. And I know you have done so much since then. So we're going to just talk about all those things today. And thank you for reaching out and
Of
reminding me
course,
that
no
I had
problem.
to. Yeah, reminding me that I had to talk to you. And so tell me why you are the king of instrumental pop. I want to know this. Tell me about this.
Okay, so basically, I released my first studio album called Youthly in
Hmm.
April of 2022. And then,
Okay.
actually, a year after, like April 2023, it charted on iTunes, which at the time I didn't think was a big deal, but I guess I was like the first American teenage instrumental artist to chart on iTunes ever. Like in America, I was the youngest person to do it, and I still am. So I guess that was like the big thing at the
Wow.
time. And so that's when, like, I think a month
Hmm.
after, that's when
Hmm.
the newspapers started saying, like, am I the king of instrumental pop? Because that was something I guess they haven't seen before. Because now I'm the youngest person to ever chart on iTunes, still, currently. Well, for instrumental
Wow, that's
music, of
awesome.
course.
Instrumental. So, do you produce different genres of music or just pop music?
So my next album called Emergent, which I'm releasing in November of this year,
Hmm.
it's also gonna be pop, but
Hmm.
it's kind of like it's pop, just like Youthly, but it's definitely a new sound. So it's
Hmm.
not gonna be the same thing that Youthly was.
Oh, interesting. I'm gonna have to engage a little bit more in what you're doing. That's a beautiful thing that you do in terms of reaching your goals and producing the sound you like to produce. And so, how long have you been doing music, producing music?
Um, Really, it started actually during the pandemic. Like, so 2020 is when I joined social media in general. And then 2021 was when I collaborated
Hmm.
on a song. So after the collaboration, I found how much I enjoyed
Hmm.
it, and I was like, okay, let me make my own album. So I made my own album, like I think 5 months after the collaboration.
Hmm. Hmm. That's awesome. So, the last time we talked, you were telling me about marketing. You were into marketing. Are you still doing that?
At my high school, I think business, that was my major at the time. In college, I'm now doing nursing.
Oh, okay. 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 Well, you are doing something that you love when it comes to music, and I think that's awesome because sometimes people they don't pursue their dreams or the things they really love to do, and sometimes, regardless of what we may do for a living day to day, we should always pursue our goals and we should always pursue the things that we love most. Um, And so you've done something that you wanted to do and you're having fun doing it. And that's a beautiful thing. How is the nonprofit organization going? Because the last time we talked, you told me that you were in the process of organizing with a group of people something that would be very beneficial for the youth. Are you still doing that?
So Commonly Advice, where I think next year is gonna be our third year. Um, I have been working with them, like the kids that are in the program still, and I do want to have a project, release a group project like I mentioned in the last podcast. But that'd probably be a goal for next year because this year, like, there's so many
Mm-hmm.
things going on. But yeah, I still work on Calmly Advice, and I'm still very dedicated to the youth organization.
Calmly Advice. That's a nice name. And tell me about the organization and its mission. Tell me about that again.
The mission, so basically, I created it, I think February 2022, and it's basically like a mental health organization. We give
Hmm.
tips, we give advice, for people who are going through a variety of issues, whether it's like mental health, like in terms of school, or just maybe
Hmm.
at home stress. So we try to give advice and we try to give help to people.
Right.
And that's why we're trying to hold like a workshop, but that's probably like for next year, a next year goal for our organization.
Oh, that's awesome. And you do have a website, correct?
No, we don't have a website, we have a link tree.
Yes. Oh, okay. You can give out that information if you need to. Yeah.
Okay, yeah,
Um,
it's in our
so
bio on Instagram.
okay. All right, cool. Um, so tell me what is your view on what's happening in the music industry today versus what you know the music industry was like 7
What do
or
you
8
mean?
years
Like,
ago? What is your view on it? Do you think the music industry is better? Yes? No?
wait, I'm sorry, you cut out at the last part.
Oh, I'm sorry. I said, tell me what your views are about the music industry. Do you think that the music industry, in comparison to what it used to be maybe 5, 6, 7 years ago, do you think the music industry is going in a bad direction? Because there's a lot of streaming of other people's music, and some artists are not getting paid, and the music industry has changed a lot. So, what are your views when it comes to what is happening in the music industry today, based upon what you know? What are your
I think
views?
that the music industry, like compared to maybe the 2010s or 2000s, is a whole different music industry. Especially, I
Hmm.
think when you're talking about the streams, I think AI has a lot to play with that because, like there's some stories that come out about singers, like some who have even passed on, that they're releasing new songs under them through like AI generators. So I think the AI definitely has a big impact on music. But definitely, I would say like for instrumental music, I don't think AI
Mhm.
really affects us, like instrumental artists, that much. I think it's
Right.
more of like
Mhm.
singers, like people who sing on the tracks, because the AI can actually create songs with their voice. So that's a bit scary on that end.
Yeah, that is very serious. That is very serious to have someone sound like you, being computer generated, and then be rewarded for something like that. That is terrible because recently I heard that there was an artist that um, used Drake's voice, and they said it was submitted for a possible Grammy nomination.
Wow.
And I just, yeah, I think that's really really bad because music in its art form is a beauty when it comes to original creation. And if when people take away from that, it becomes garbage to me, you know. So I think that they should not allow people to use somebody's voice. It should be against the law because it's your voice. How can somebody take your voice and use it and create something, it's just like your fingerprint. You have a unique fingerprint, all of us.
Yeah,
And
it's
so
your own talent.
somebody shouldn't be able to take your fingerprint. Yeah, I think that's horrible. Yeah, that shouldn't happen. Well, I'm just glad that you are here today because it's been a while since I spoke with you, and I know that you have been busy doing so much since the last time I talked to you. So tell me about uh, other good things that have taken place according to your career goals and things that you have been pursuing. Tell me about that. What else has happened?
So after Youthly, the title track off the Youthly album, which is also called Youthly, charted on iTunes,
Mm-hmm.
companies have made like dolls, um, stickers, like signature stickers with my
Mm,
signature on it, like just different memorabilia or merchandise for people to buy. It's available on Etsy. So I guess that has been like really nice. And then also
right.
a company even like made a video game, and that video game made headlines in my local news because now I'm the youngest musician in America, like whether instrumental music or not, just youngest musician in America to have a video game based off themselves. So that was another like big thing, and that happened I think
Oh,
like
that's
2 months ago.
wow. So doors are opening for you based upon something you started doing your first album, and doors are opening. I think that's just incredible. And so tell me a little bit about this game. Tell me a little bit more about it.
So it's called Domokon's Beats. It's available on desktop, I think Windows, on itch.io. That's the website it's called. You can play it there. It's free for
Hmm.
anyone to
Hmm.
play. And basically, it's very simple. It's
Hmm.
just you match, like, I'm basically at a studio and there's arrows, and you have to match the arrow to the correct sound that you hear. And basically, if you get it
Hmm.
right, I start like dancing, I'm smiling. If you get it wrong, I get sad. And basically,
Oh wow,
it tells you the amount of points you got at the end.
that's cute. So it's for people that are producers or people that just like to play games that like to hear music. Is it
Yeah,
for
anyone
that
can play the game.
or for
It's a very
anybody?
simple game. Yeah, anyone.
Hmm. Yeah, yeah. Wow. So what your following, you have a large following, and tell me about the people that support your music. What is the age group and what is the nationalities or regions where or countries that people engage in your music the most?
Probably the teenage, like 18 to 24, or even younger, like 13 to 24 age demographic, like teenagers, early adults, because I feel like that's kind of the
Mhm.
that's what I represent. Like most of my acknowledgments, most of my records, like it's usually youngest teenager, youngest like teenage video games. So I feel like I relate to them the most.
Mhm.
And I've also had people message me, like especially
Mhm.
teenagers message me and say like my music's so great or it's impacted them or they love hearing it when they're studying. So definitely like that young demographic.
Mhm. Yeah. So, do you think that people of that age group enjoy instrumentals more than a song that has lyrics?
I can't really answer that, but I feel like they do enjoy my
Mhm.
music, and that's why, like, for me, it's not just instruments. Like, I do make instrumental music,
Right.
but then in between each song on, like, my Youthly album, for example, I'm speaking, like, I'm explaining what the next song's gonna be about. So it's telling a story. So it's more than just instrumental
Right.
music, if that makes sense. But I can't really say instrumental music. It's very hard to compete
Mhm.
with mainstream music because you know you're not
Yeah,
hearing
of course.
anything.
Mhm. Right. So, what are your long-term goals for your music pursuits? What are your long-term goals? What do you want to see happen for yourself when it comes to music?
Definitely this next album, Emergent. Hopefully, it charts on iTunes, just like Youthly or even Billboard. I mean, I know Billboard's uh stretch, but it'd be nice if it could chart on Billboard too. That'd be a nice goal. And that yeah, I just continue to
Hmm.
do well, and that people continue to like the music.
Hmm. Hmm. Yeah. Well, continue to keep doing what you're doing and keep pushing it out. And you never know. Everybody has a time, but that time can't come if we're not consistent. So when we
Yeah.
are consistent and we keep putting forth what we want to see happen, and we keep, planting the seed and building upon the goal, then the manifestation is yours. And that's a guarantee. That's why I always tell people, uh, think about what you want to do, make a plan, put something in motion, and work on it. Because if you put something in motion, then you will always have something to look forward to. Because some things may not happen overnight, but if you keep pursuing your goal and you keep doing the work, something will happen for sure. And so, what would you want to say to someone that may be listening to this episode if they are pursuing a music goal such as yourself? What would you want to say to them that is inspirational? What would you say to them?
I would definitely say there are two things that you have to do to become successful or to at least see progress. The first thing I would say is
Hmm.
you definitely need to invest a lot of time. I invested a lot of time into this while still going to school, and I was still
Hmm.
doing well in school too. I was still an honor roll student, but it wasn't easy. I had to
Hmm.
invest a lot of time and energy into this. So if it's something you want to do, you definitely have to be serious about it. It can't be something that you just do haphazardly because if you're doing it like that, you're not going to see fast
Hmm.
results or you're not going to see fast progress. Then the second thing that I would say is definitely you have to believe in yourself. Like, I know it's hard, like when you see like those
Hmm.
bigger celebrities out there and you're like, I'm never going to be one
Yes.
of them, but you have to believe, like, even if you know it might take 5 years or
Hmm.
10 years, you have to just believe that it is possible, or at least that you can get close to what that person has gone.
Yes. Yes, absolutely. No matter how old you are, young, older, it doesn't matter. I believe that once you plan and put something to work for you and just keep working on it, then something will manifest. Unfortunately, sometimes some people never start the work. They procrastinate or they make excuses or they just never start. And it's always important to start somewhere, make a plan, start somewhere, and just do the work. Um, and don't go by whether or not the progress is happening quicker or slower. Don't worry about that because if you focus on that, then you're going to miss the rewards of the journey to get to where you're going. Because doing the work, even when you don't see the results, you got to have faith and you have to, like you said, Dom, you got to believe in yourself and you have to keep going forward, believing in what you know you can receive. Um, there are a lot of people that are currently in the music industry. They are in the entertainment industry, and a lot of them can tell us all they some of them had to wait for 10 years, 15 years, even 20 years to reach the level of success that they foresaw themselves or they foreseeing themselves, excuse me, seeing. And so or experiencing. And so it's good to work on something, build something, make a plan, and just keep doing the work. It's so important to do the work. So, Dom, you have been working on all this music stuff and you accomplished something and how do you feel about it now? Do you believe that it's easier to do or you understand that there is more work for you to do or it may be harder? Which one is it?
I feel like definitely I'm
Is it
definitely what do you call it? I'm more experienced now. So yeah, I
mm,
would say it's not easier. Like there I do have some challenges every day, but it's definitely
mm-hmm,
easier than when I first started out. And also,
mm-hmm,
like when I look back too, like I could never imagine if someone told me like 2 or 3 years later that I interviewed Britney Spears, her ex-husband, or that I would be a world record holder, or that I would have a video game,
mm-hmm,
I wouldn't believe it. So definitely it takes
mm-hmm,
time, but it will happen. And like next year, I don't know what's
mm-hmm,
gonna happen next year,
mm-hmm.
but I just have faith that maybe I'll see even more progress.
I believe you will because you are consistent in what you're doing. And I think that when you are pursuing a goal, like I said, if you look at focusing on the work and not just the numbers or the progress, then you are working on will build itself over time. Sometimes I think that when we focus on numbers and we focus on how well something is doing over a certain amount of time, we tend to judge it too quickly. And you can't judge the progress of something too quickly because for something to be established, it has to be foundational. So, whatever it is that you're working on, when you set the foundation and you do the work so that it can be established. And anything that is established, it is not established overnight, it's established over time. So, we should always make sure that when we are doing the work, look forward to being consistent to keep doing the work. And your time will come. Your time will come. If you are doing the work and if you are faithful to the work, then your time will come. And I just believe that. And I believe that you will continue to do well, Dom. I think that this is just the beginning of something great happening. And I think that because you are doing the work and you foresee yourself doing something greater, greater things will happen. The journey of doing work for a goal to be accomplished is not always easy, but it is possible. What do you think, Dom? What do you think? The
No, I
journey
agree.
of doing the work. It's not easy. Hmm. Hmm. Yeah, it's not always easy, but it's possible. It's possible to get it done. So that's why we should always focus on just doing the work. A lot of people always say to me, well, why don't you do this with the podcast and do this and do that? Well, I always say that God is the one that's driving this train. God is the one. He's the one that's driving this. And wherever he wants it to go, it will go. Now I've had people, offer me different things and they tried to change things about the podcast. And I said, no. But I believe that when you are pursuing your goals, when you are doing the work and you have faith, let's not forget that God will make sure you get to the place you need to be. I just believe that. And as far as this work on this podcast, that's my belief. Whether people support it or not, this podcast gonna keep going because God is driving this train. It's a train. So that's my take. But Dom, is there anything else you want to share before we conclude? Is there anything else you want to tell me or anything else you want to share with the public today?
Like we previously discussed earlier, I am releasing a new album,
Mhm.
my second studio album, Emergent, November 11th. I think that's the release date. So make sure to stream that. It's
Mhm.
going to be in all streaming platforms.
Okay. Is there anything you want to tell your fans if they happen to listen to this episode? Is there anything you want to tell them specifically?
Um, I would just say thank you. Like without the fans, without the support, I wouldn't be where I am today. So definitely thank you. And also, I appreciate the love that I get, the messages that I get on Instagram. So thank you once more. Because without the fans, you wouldn't be, I mean, without the fans, celebrities or like famous people, they wouldn't be anything without supporters, without people supporting them.
Not at all. Not at all. Public support is key in all things. And it's important to acknowledge, show that appreciation, and make sure we not forget. It's so important. Listeners, thank you so much for tuning in to listen to SB Favorite Thinking podcast. Dom, thank you for being a part of this episode. I will have you back again to get an update on what you're doing in terms of your music and the game and the success of everything that's coming, because I believe that there is great success coming for you. So, thanks again for being a part of this episode. So,
Thank you
listeners,
for having me.
if no problem, no problem. Listeners, if you need to reach me, you can reach me at sbfavorite@yahoo.com via email. You can also find me on Facebook, X, that used to be Twitter. You can find me there, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, of course. Subscribe, leave me some feedback. Subscribe to me wherever you listen to podcasts. I'm all over. I'm iHeartRadio, Amazon Audible, um, Apple. I'm there. So subscribe and make sure you share this podcast with others. It's so important that you share and make sure you give. If you want to give, you can give at Cash App, $ SB Favor, or you can give at Venmo at SB Favor. I thank you so much for your support and your constant encouragement. Those that tell me to keep going, going, guess what? I appreciate you because just like all of us being human, guess what? I have days just like anybody else that I gotta stay encouraged. And those that encourage me, thank you because that's my purpose to encourage you as well. So once again, if you need to reach me, you know where to find me, sbfavorite@yahoo.com, and share this podcast with others. Thank you for listening. Talk to you soon. You have a good day.